This is Never Down, Never Out with T.R. Matson. This podcast is about discipline when motivation fades, resilience when things get hard, and showing up when quitting would be easier. No hype, no shortcuts, just the mindset required to build something real, one day at a time. Let's get into it. Welcome back. Big milestone, episode 21. 3 weeks of Never Down, Never Out, and you're still with me. I want to thank you so much for sticking through this, for listening each day, for the people that do. If you just found me, go back. I appreciate all the subscriptions, all of the comments, the likes. It truly does help as I learn this world of YouTube and this world of podcasts. So thank you. Because it's episode 21, we're 3 weeks into it, it's a milestone. I tried to think of a good story that fits the topic. So I'll jump right into it and we'll talk about today's topic. Today, how belief is built through action. So I saw this pop up and I thought to myself, okay, how belief is built through action. How can I describe what I meant here? And then it hit me. Brought me back to a story from my youth. So grew up in New Jersey. Those who follow me know my parents owned a small business, and my dad loved fishing and had a boat, and we would go out fishing all the time. That was our thing. A lot of families would go on vacations. We would go on the boat. And one particular day, it was just my dad and I. We were out fishing, kind of just south of Staten Island in the Raritan Bay there. To me, it's no different than any other day as a kid. I'm out with my dad, we're fishing. I'm probably more bored than I needed to be. I was probably being a pain, not being the a good kid, because it's all about me when you're 6, 7 years old, however old I was. And we're out there, and all of a sudden, way off in the horizon, my dad sees something and he goes, "Hey, reel the line in." And I just assumed we're going to go try another fishing spot or something like that. So I reel in the line, I put the rod down, and he's already got the boat fired up and he's going, and he, those that know my dad know he doesn't drive particularly fast in anything. He never has. Cars, boats. I mean, he's just not a speed guy. And so when he starts going, like, we're moving. Like, I don't know if I've ever seen the boat go this fast. And I'm like, oh, and I'm little, right? I can't really, I'm just holding on. And he's hauling. And I tried to ask him, "Hey, Dad, what's going on? Where are we going?" And he's just like, "Just hang on." Okay. So we're going eastbound across Raritan Bay, and what seems very quick to me, which probably took longer in hindsight, but again, to a kid, this is a very weird environment I'm in. All of a sudden he pulls back the throttles and he turns the boat around and he goes, "Look." And what I see from my 6, 7-year-old vantage point is all of these boats. And again, I've been out with my dad a bunch. I'm assuming they're all fishing. And then I heard the sound. And screeching right overhead, high-performance jet aircraft, which I later learned was none other than the Blue Angels. And they were performing an air show off of Long Island. And we didn't know it at the time. My dad saw it, and he wanted to go see it with me and all this. And here we are, in the mix of all of this. And I remember just being in awe of the noise and the power and the smoke and just the precision. And honestly, I took in 1% of how cool it really was. But I was standing on the boat and the waves and all these boats and these high-powered jets. And I remember at one point, the show I think was over or coming to an end. And I remember vividly looking up at my dad, and I probably paint this a little bit more romantic than reality, but frankly, that's okay because I don't want to know the true reality. I'm going to leave this memory in my mind the way it is. But I remember looking up at him and going, Dad, is there any way that I could do that? And again, I've talked before. There's no pilots in my family. Nobody had gone to college. And I just remember him in this moment looking down at me and him saying, yes, you could be anything you want to be. So why couldn't you do that? And it stuck with me. Now, 6, 7-year-old me has this belief that I could be a fighter pilot, that I could fly jets, right? But what does that really mean? Nothing. They're nothing. It's romantic. It's beautiful. It's a moment between a father and a son. It's a memory that'll live with me forever. But it doesn't mean anything. It was the spark we talked about, right? It was probably one of my first memories of motivation, right? It was. My dad lit the spark in my mind that there was a chance that one day I could be a fighter pilot. One day I could fly high performance jet aircraft. That being said, I had no idea how to do it. I was so far off from even starting at 6, 7 years old. No idea, right? So my timeline of being closer to achieving that goal really wasn't any further along than it was before we left to go fishing that. But now looking back, this was rapidly approaching 40 years ago, which hurts a little, but we'll let that go. I achieved the goal. Now, I was never a Blue Angel. That's fine. That wasn't in the cards for me, but I did fly for the Navy off of aircraft carriers. I did fly high performance jets in the Navy. So how did I get there? Dumb luck? Well, some people might say yes. And maybe they're right. I don't know. But the reality of how I got there was I kept that motivation, that belief that he gave me just a spark of when I was very young. And I kept it alive by doing small measurable tasks to get myself closer to that goal. If you think of your goal as a ruler, and we're starting at 0 and I want to get to the 12, well, his comment got me to about half an inch. But all the things I did between the 0.5 and the 12 were small actions that I had to do day and day and over and over. And unfortunately in life, and we'll talk about this later on, sometimes, you get to the 7 or the 8 and you're like, I'm getting there. And then you get knocked back to the 4. You're like, dang it. All right, keep clawing, right? We'll keep moving. So the belief was there because of the words that my father said and what I saw. And at 7 years old, most kids just take what their fathers say as face value. But I had to build on that belief. And as we talked about in my now infamous upside down throw up story, the belief was important. I had to believe in myself throughout my career because of setbacks. It was not something that was handed to me. It was something that in a lot of ways I had to fight my whole way through in order to achieve that ultimate goal of flying fighters. And that belief had to stay there the whole time. And the only way it was going to stay there is my actions, my moving forward, my overcoming adversity, my getting closer to the goal and then getting knocked back. That was the only thing, because in my mind, I realized whether it was realizing I get motion sick and this is a huge setback. But then thinking back to when I blew out my ankle in high school, and that was a huge setback. Or struggling through adversity in the Navy, but then thinking back to struggling through adversity, getting sick. The belief was there because I could always look back at the actions of something I had done before. And I've spoken about this before. What you're going through right now, you need the belief in your mind to be able to repeatedly, sometimes minute by minute, remind yourself that you can do this. You can continue on this goal that you're on because you've done it every time so far. Things are going to knock you back. Things are going to not be easy. But you've done things before that are difficult. You've accomplished and gotten through 100% of the things that have tried to derail you thus far. 100% of the adversaries that have attacked you to take you off of your path, you have defeated thus far. You have not been presented something on this planet that you have not been able to overcome thus far. You're still here. You're still breathing. You're still listening. You're still learning. You're still moving forward. And if that simple fact doesn't give you the belief that tomorrow and down the line that you will still be here, nothing will. Your actions to get you through everything thus far in your life, whether you're 5 or 85, stand as the foundation for the belief to give you the strength to move forward. While tomorrow's never guaranteed, the one guarantee is you've got a perfect track record. But you have to realize you have that perfect track record, and you have to continue to push forward. That's a must. So as we sit here today, you're not a 7-year-old kid watching the Blue Angels fly on your dad's boat. You're not. You're not at that level of belief. You're at a position in your life where maybe you just threw up in a loop on a check ride. Maybe there's some other level of adversity that you've gone through and you're there. But you're at that point in your life, and you can look back on those things and build more belief in what you're capable of. Those actions that you took thus far on whatever path you're on are the foundations of the belief to get you further. You have never been through anything in your life that has ended you. You're a perfect score. You're an undefeated record. Much like I spoke about before. The football team in the Super Bowl that doesn't make a first down on their first drive, yet they have an undefeated season, doesn't give up. Because they have the belief of all their actions to get you to that got them to this game. So they didn't make it. They got a punt. That's fine. Because they still have all the belief. They didn't just show up to the big game. They worked themselves there. They've earned it, just as you have. So as we sit here today, whatever's in front of you, I don't care what it is, to get a new job, to start a new career, to pass a class, to lose weight, to fix a relationship, to be more financially fit, whatever that goal is. You have been through adversity on some level thus far, and you have gotten through it. Therefore, you should build belief off of that. And that belief is what will drive you to tomorrow, to where you'll build more belief. And it becomes this traction that is unstoppable. Truly successful people in this world, when things come at them, they don't even hear it. It doesn't even faze them. It's like that running back going down the field that it's like nobody can tackle him. You get so much momentum going forward that there is nothing anybody can do to stop you. Nothing. Because you're so determined to get to your goal. Now, you're not going to get there just because somebody tells you that you can fly airplanes when you're 7 years old. You're going to get there because of all of the things, the little steps that you have taken so far in your life. Build that foundation. Build that belief wall around you that nobody can penetrate. Nobody can knock you off of it. And every day we put another brick on that wall with more actions, and we build that wall higher to where at some point there is nothing on this planet that can stop you from believing in yourself. I know you have that in you. And if you dig deep enough, depending on where you're at on your journey, if you dig deep enough, you know you have that in you too. So today, I want you to give yourself a pat on the back. I want you to give yourself a little hug and a little praise silently. I want you to think back on all of the things you have done to get you to where you are right now. You might not be where you want to go, but you're right here. I want you to take just a couple minutes and think of all those things and realize what you've done and start laying that foundation of belief if you don't have it. I believe in you. You believe in you. I know this. You've stuck with me this far. You're going to go great places if you just continue to believe. We'll talk soon. If this episode helped you, don't just listen, apply it. Progress is built in what you do after the message ends. Remember, never down, never out. I'll see you tomorrow.